Welcome everyone to the Woman Reinvention Project, where you'll learn from the experts on how to fire up your energy, work with passion, enjoy more freedom now by doing less. My name is Vesna Hrsto. I'm a naturopath and a life coach from vesnahrsto.com, and today I'm really excited to be speaking with Louise Thompson. Louise is a happiness activist, a life coach, and author of The Busy Woman's Guide to High Energy Happiness. When I read Louise's book, I thought I would love to talk to her more about this because I loved her focus on the mind shifts that you need in order to live a high energy life. So welcome, Louise.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. It's a real pleasure to be with you.
Awesome. So let's get a bit of a background on how you kind of got into doing this work and talking about it and obviously writing a book about it. So what got you interested or what got you into the field?
My story, just to make it as brief as I can, was I was working in corporate, loved it, worked in media, very fast-paced, high pressure, all of that kind of thing, but loved it. But over a period of years, so I was in media for 17 years. The last few years, I started to get really, really super tired, headaches all the time. Just dragging myself around, really, fueling myself with coffee or nothing was happening, and then just wired at night, winding down with wine, headaches all the time, feeling really just unwell. Then I started feeling dizzy, then all my hair started falling out, and I just kept going to the doctors and saying, I don't feel well, I don't feel well, I don't feel well. They kept testing, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, normal, until I collapsed at my desk one day, and I never ever went back. And I had a condition that's called adrenal fatigue. I got it because I'm real all in or an all out person, so I got it like at the severe end of the scale. So I was actually bedridden for 4 months and I couldn't work for over a year. And it was a pretty significant wake-up call. And for me, I was like, there's no way I'm going back into corporate. I already had a psychology degree, I trained as a life coach, had a yoga business on the side. I know it's amazing how I burnt myself out, right?
It is a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery to me. And so as I was getting better, I was using more and more of my life coaching tools, a lot more of the Eastern wisdom that I learned as a yoga teacher, and putting that all together with these amazing supplements, Dr. James Wilson supplements, that I got better from this thing called adrenal fatigue, where other people with chronic fatigue syndrome would just sit for decades. And when I got well, literally people just started banging on my door pretty much and saying, I'm absolutely exhausted, can you help? And the coaching tools that I used with them and the supplements and things like the yogic breathing and teaching them ways of managing their nervous system differently and reducing stress around their own unique triggers, people were getting well so quickly, but then my wait list was getting so big. I was like, right, I need to put this in a format that it's way more accessible for people, which is why I wrote my book. That's why it's got lots of client stories in there and women that were absolutely exhausted and juggling a million different responsibilities and living on coffee and just dragging through each day. And so that's my work, and that's what I do. I feel really lucky to have had such a really positive experience from something that at the time looked quite bad.
So definitely sharing your journey with the rest of the world and helping them to find the road out. So what did you find, like, along the way? Like, obviously there was symptoms and telltale signs and you went to the doctor and they were just like, you're fine, and then you finally understood what was going on and then you found your road out in your recovery. What do you feel was kind of the biggest learnings or a bigger aha moment for you along the way, that either before the diagnosis or into the treatment? So what was something that
The real wake-up call for me was after I think I'd seen the third specialist at the hospital, and they were amazing doctors and endocrinologists and all of this, and I tested for everything. And everything kept coming back in the normal range, and I couldn't even drive at that point. I couldn't even dress myself. I was so ill. And to be in a hospital with them saying, well, everything's normal, and the specialist actually said, and my blood pressure, right, was 80 over 49. Right? Like, it so wasn't normal. But he actually said, "You're the healthiest sick person I've ever seen."
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a turning point for me, because I realised actually having all these tests and them all coming back negative initially made me feel like I was going mad.
Yeah.
Because there was no external validation. I knew I felt desperately unwell, and just it wasn't normal to feel so tired. But there was no, tick box on a test coming back. So and it was almost like they were suggesting it was in my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, my hair's all coming out. So the turning point for me was actually realising, well, do you know what, it's great I've had all these tests, because I thought I was dying. I thought I had leukemia or something. And it's like, okay, well, I've had every possible test. I'm clearly not dying. I've just got something which isn't showing in the way we traditionally test.
Mm-hmm.
And that nobody knows my body better than I do. Nobody knows what's normal for me better than I do. And maybe the answer does not lie in a traditional medical model, but the answers actually lie within me.
Yeah.
And the minute that penny dropped and I actually took charge of my own healing and recovery, then I started to get better. So I got these adrenal fatigue supplements, and I talked to the specialist about adrenal fatigue, and 3 of them had told me it didn't even exist.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
It's just so dangerous, frankly. And so once I actually took on that responsibility, like I was the one living with it, so I might as well be the one to fix it.
Correct.
And that was huge, actually. And it was like, okay, so fixing it for me was understanding that I hadn't caught adrenal fatigue. It was something I'd actually given to myself by the way that I thought about my work, the way that I thought about my family responsibilities, the way I thought about my social responsibilities, about how hard I drove myself at work, about being a type A personality, about succeeding, about winning, all of those things. It was thousands and thousands of tiny decisions that had led me to get so ill. It wasn't one big thing.
Yeah.
And so the coaching training that I'd had allowed me to start changing those thought patterns and actually just completely take control back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fantastic. So definitely owning your health or owning your body and owning where you're at, so taking that responsibility for it. And also, I like what you said that, you could tap into your body and really know what your body needs in order to heal, or know what your body needs in order to be fixed. And it doesn't always look like something traditional, as you said, but I find that a lot of women doubt themselves on their own intuition about what they need or what their actual body needs, or perhaps they don't want to look at what that is for them, because it could be a matter of changing their life and so forth. But that's a really good point to pull out. I think that intuition or connection with the body is super important in any healing journey, but particularly with adrenal fatigue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see it a lot with my clients. So sometimes when they get to me, I'm like the last thing that they've tried, and they hear about me because they'll be referred by a friend or whatever, and they'll have their first session, and at the end they will just weep.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh my God, you're the first person that actually, firstly, gets how I feel, and secondly, you know how to get me better, and if I just follow the formula, I get my life back.
Yeah.
And they walk out and they're like, this is the first time I've had hope, got my hope back. And then I see them 2 weeks later, and you can see they're already up, and then 2 weeks later, and then, and it's and I feel privileged to be able to do it, and I honestly believe it happened for me to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it's ended up being a real blessing. But yeah, that they're believed, that they can sit and talk to me, or I get emails all the time, people that have read my book, and they're like, you've just made sense of everything that's been going on with me for the last 2 years or 5 years or whatever. And that there's that validation that, this thing is real.
Yeah.
It's mostly women that get it. It's high-achieving, smart women that get it. That's why it's the busy women's guide.
I find it's not even just the high-achieving. I mean, high-achieving, I think there's different aspects to it. For some women, it's considered like, if you're a corporate player and, you're busy in the corporate scene. But I find women who are high perfectionists, doing
and that
everything.
can be particularly stay-at-home mums, that
Correct.
high perfectionist stay-at-home mums. So the kids are in lots and lots of after-school programs. They've got a really big household to run. There's usually multiple children. The husband's usually got a high-powered role, and so they're doing lots of kind of entertaining, but he's also travelling, so they're doing actually a lot of solo parenting. You know, they might be working part-time, and there's just a lot of juggling, but they do it all uber well. They're super capable, but they're actually really burned out. Surf bums don't get this.
Everyone should go out surfing and become a surf bum. That's the remedy.
It's definitely is a personality type.
Definitely.
Behind it.
And I also find, like you said, that your burnout was actually a real blessing for you. I find burnout is a blessing, full stop. Like, I feel like it kind of reorganizes your life, and kind of, you know, the inner changes that you make, the mental shifts that you make, the lifestyle changes that you make, caring for your body, etc., is actually for your benefit. And it's kind of like, if you're going in the wrong direction for too long, it's kind of the thing that pulls you back. It gives you space, to give you time to reflect. I mean, you've got a lot of time to focus on yourself when you're burnt out, right? Because you can't really do too much. So you're in a space where it's total introspection, you know, there's a bit of a life review, you know, and then it's a redirect. That's what I find anyway.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And the work that I do with my clients, you know, they'll just be like, afterwards, I've changed the boundaries around my work life, my personal life, my home life. This is better. I've got rid of these 5 things that actually were draining me. You know, I don't complain as much. I don't shoot for perfection. I'm so much happier. My life's so much more ease and flow. Like, it's such a massive learning experience. But that's about deep change, you know, and that's doing that mental, emotional, and spiritual work in order to get the physical change. Because otherwise, people just take some supplements and they get a bit better, and then life gets stressful, and then they'll go down again. It's about equipping women with smart tools that they can use so that they get well, but then they stay well. So that's what I think is the most important thing, because I see so many people, they've been bouncing in and out of adrenal fatigue for years. You know, it's a silent epidemic. I think probably 50%, maybe more,
I would say more.
of the women out there, have got adrenal fatigue, whether it's mild, moderate, or severe. You know, and it's become dangerously normalised. It's
very, very commonplace, and I find stress and living in excess in terms of working long hours and kind of burning the candle at both ends is, you know, it's a badge of honour. Do you know, like, I'm so busy. Like, you often hear people say, I'm so busy, and that's like what you should be saying. It's like, that's accepted. If it's like, I'm not too busy, or like things are going okay, it's like, that's unusual to hear someone say, right? So it's much more accepted to be busy all the time, and it is the norm.
It is, and it's we all reinforce it with each other. You know, so, and there's nothing wrong with actually having a really busy, active life, as long as it's filled with things that are nourishing you. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. But if you're busy with things that are depleting you on those 4 levels, then that's where you're going to have a problem.
Do you find people nourish themselves, like if they're trying to do the best that they can, so that they realise there's a problem, so that they eat better, they perhaps, you know, incorporate some yoga, or maybe not yoga, but other exercises, but start to really nourish their body, take a few supplements, but don't do the mental and the spiritual work? Do you see a lot of that?
Well, not with my clients, because otherwise they would come and see me.
No, but I mean before they become your clients.
But I mean, because, and also I just, you know, I just kick their ass, because that's what you need to do in order to actually make a life
I mean,
change.
like, actually before they come to
see
see
people, they'll have kind of played around the edges with it. So I've done a bit of acupuncture, and then I've taken a few supplements for a couple of months, and then you know, I've been to 6 yoga classes, and it's like, that's not gonna do it. You know, it's looking at what the level is that's below that. And so I call them junk food thoughts, right? So in my book, there's a chapter of 10 junk food thoughts. And these are the thoughts that the things that drive us too hard. So it might be perfectionism, might be the thing, or it might be that I'm not good enough, that feeling a little bit like a fraud, like you're going to get caught out. It might be not processing emotions in a way that's honest and authentic, so that you drown them with wine, or with cupcakes, or with overworking, or whatever it might be. So there are these junk food, I call them junk food thought patterns, because you know, the inevitable and only outcome really is adrenal fatigue, or frankly something nastier. Like I actually feel grateful to have got adrenal fatigue, you know, rather than cancer. Like my body did adrenal fatigue with what I did to it, rather than something way worse, and something I could fix myself. So it's like, you know, if you ate McDonald's for breakfast, lunch and dinner every day for a month, then we all know what the result of that would be. You know, you'd put on fat, your cholesterol would go up, blah, 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 blah. It's the inevitable consequence. But we pay so much attention to what we put in our body, and that is important.
Yes,
you know, I'm a smoothie fan, I'm all about the green juices, it's great. But what's even more important is what you put in here. You know, and if we're feeding junk food in here, like I'm not good enough, this has to be perfect, I've got to be the best, I haven't got enough time, etc., then the outcome, instead of getting fat, the outcome is getting knackered. Right? And so if you don't fix those underlying patterns, then that's where you get people, they just dabble in and out and get a little bit better, worse, better, worse, better.
And it's kind of prolonging the misery, and then, you know, they're fed up with trying to fix themselves. So it becomes like this ever-evolving cycle of just fatigue, and then a little bit of energy, and then more and deeper into fatigue and deeper, and it's really disheartening for people, because, you know, they feel like they're doing all the right things in terms of, you know, what experts say kind of out there, and they feel more frustrated because they're doing that, and it's not cutting it, right? It's not getting down to those deeper levels.
And the thing is, it's because that stuff is just surface level stuff. You know, as you know, right? So it's like, I'm not saying, of course it's good to have a green juice.
Of course. It's not the ultimate treatment, though. Do you know? Like it's
like that is not gonna fix it. If you don't fix your pattern around responding to stress, in certain situations that always trigger you, and it's not going to solve the problem if you don't actually take apart what pushes you to be perfectionist in every situation. You know, you would fix the deep stuff, and then taking the green juice and exercising, and that all becomes easy. You know, but the problem with most of the information out there is it starts with this stuff. You know, so and I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, adrenal fatigue is this silent epidemic. You know, it doesn't show in the tests, nightmare, and secondly, you know, the information around it is just surface level information. It's not about deep transformation. I agree.
I find that dietary, like I find when, you know, exercise and diet, when that slips, that's really just a symptom of all that underlining stuff, like the mental stuff, the spiritual disconnection and all of that. So when you start, like when you work with clients and you start, say, for example, picking into the, you know, perfectionist stuff, like when you start breaking that down with people, how do they find their reaction? How do they deal with it? Like, is there resistance to go through that kind of process?
I mean, it varies. I mean, a lot of the work that I do one-on-one, I mean, it's intense, the work that we do, but then big change is going to be intense. And, you know, we laugh a lot more than we cry. But, you know, it's deeply emotional for a lot of people, you know, and it's releasing patterns that sometimes that they've been driven by for their whole life. You know, but they feel so much freer and easier on the other side of that work. That, you know, that it's absolutely worth investing that time and energy in doing that. I've got a lot of my clients also go through. I've got an online group coaching group called Wellbeing Warriors, and what we do in there every day is it's a tiny little challenge around emotional, spiritual, mental, or physical fitness, and it's about rewriting those patterns. So 1 month we did it around empowered choice, 1 month was around body love, last month was around reducing stress, this month is around complaining, energy complaints, and so you know, it's there's the one-on-one work, but then there's also the supporting clients with this like daily. It's just this incredible positive group of making coaching work actually work every single day, because that's where you get the change. You can't just read a thing and you know. People need more support than that.
I just find when you read something, I mean, I love reading, but at the end of the day, there needs to be action taken. So either you're self-discipline to keep yourself doing that, or you get support, and it's just so much easier to get support.
It's amazing. In this group, you go all the way and talk to each other
Yeah.
and coming up with suggestions and supporting each other and high-fiving each other, and that was so great, and I'm just so proud of you, and you've worn a bikini for the first time in 10 years, and just seeing people's body image change and people's confidence level change, and then, oh my God, go you've changed your boundaries around, I don't know, who tidies up in the house, or who's cooking dinner in the house, or, you know, or something at work, or it's an incredible community where, you know, they're supporting each other, making these tools live and breathe daily, and that's where the deep shifts happen, and that's, you know, and then people don't regress, they just go on and on and on. Yeah.
So what are some next steps that women can take? They're feeling tired, overwhelmed, you know, burnt out, headaches, dizziness, whatever it is. If they're feeling that now, what's kind of the next steps that they can take to start moving towards that high energy life? Not so much, you know, bouncing out of bed the next morning, but how they can get that started.
First thing you've got to do is you've got to start with your GP. Like, you have to start with your GP, with the medical profession, because continued fatigue, dizziness, etc., it can be symptoms of, you know, really, really scary, bad stuff. Okay, so even though all the testing might come back normal, like it did for me, actually that was incredibly important benchmark. You need to rule everything else out before you rule adrenal fatigue in. So first step is you've got to start with your traditional medical background and get your tests done and get your bloods done and all of that sort of thing. The next thing, if you think adrenal fatigue might be the issue, is do Dr. James Wilson, who is like the godfather of adrenal fatigue, and he actually wrote the foreword to my book, which is the most amazing honour. I mean, the guy's a genius. He's got a really comprehensive survey that's about 140 questions that you just tick the boxes, and it will give you a score on your whether you've got mild, moderate, severe adrenal fatigue. So that will give people a really good indication. It's actually on my website. It's also on his website, but I have permission to actually, I've got it on my website as well, so everything's in one place. So then so rule it out with the GP, then do the adrenal fatigue quiz. I think that's really important, and then get some support around that. So see your, you know, whether it's your local natural practitioner. So you want to get a hold of Dr. Wilson supplements, but then you need to do the actual change-based work, which is the mental, emotional, spiritual tools. So I would just say, you know, that's why I wrote my book. You know, I wrote it for women like me who, if I'd known how that it could just get worse and worse and worse, and I could have turned it around so much easier. You know, so get the book, read the other women's stories, and then if that you know, you can start working from it's not just a book that you read, it's a book that you do. You know, like it's
definitely a book. It's a workbook. It's a
workbook, right? Yeah. So it's a book which will help them identify their own triggers and situations that are uniquely causing stress for them. And so get started with that, and then you know, I've got a whole heap of other resources and, you know, online programs and other things that I can help them with. But first point is GP, questionnaire, supplements, book.
Awesome.
From there,
Okay, so if people want to find out more about you and your work, where should they go?
LouiseThompson.com, and everything's on there. So.
Okay, and you've got a special offer for some lucky people?
Yes. So I do a beautiful weekly newsletter called Wellbeing Wednesday, and every week it has in it a new inspirational blog on kind of mental, emotional, spiritual fitness. It has I'm a columnist for the New Zealand Herald. I write for them every week. It has my New Zealand Herald column in, other bits and pieces, quote of the week. It's very uplifting. It comes on a Wednesday. So I would love to gift 3 of your lovely viewers signed copies of my book. And pop them on the list to Wellbeing Wednesday, because it's that inbox inspiration on a Wednesday. So whatever link it is that you're going to say, click. So,
I will definitely put under your profile. There'll be a link that people can connect to that and do it really easily.
I hope that sorts out.
That's an awesome offer. Thank you.
I wish I had, you know, I wrote the book. Basically, I wish for what I wish I had read a year before I collapsed. You know, it would have changed my life completely. I would never have got to the point of being completely bedridden. I would have turned it around just at the point where I was feeling a bit wired and a bit run down, and you know, I could have turned everything around, because we've normalised fatigue, and I just want women to know it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to grind through life each day. And so, yeah, I'd love to give 3 of your readers signed copies of my book, and they can just, you know, get on with their own healing journey and get everything they need in their hands.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know the women are going to love it. Thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, your practical steps. It's been so great. I know everyone's going to be, I'm sure they would have been taking notes. I'll put a link to all of your details on the website. Thank you so much for being here today.
You are super welcome, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome.